Hello and welcome back to another video here on my channel. If you're new here, my name's Shireen and I post about all things sewing. So if you want to join the sewing family, I would love if you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell just so you're notified when I next upload a video. My usual posting days are Wednesdays, so if you don't want to miss the uploads, then do hit the bell. Are you playing with a cotton bud, Meme? Look what she's doing. Oh, well, we've knocked it over. Well done. Well done, baby. You gonna pick it up? You gonna pick it up? No, of course not. Here today I'm going to be taking you along on my thrifting trip. Here in the UK we don't tend to call it thrifting as much. That's a little bit more of an American term. But it's a similar thing that we do here is mainly things like charity shops. And they aren't as big as the warehouses that I tend to see other thrifters, but there's quite a few charity shops. So on each sort of high street we do have quite a few different charities that have a charity shop, and they're all slightly different. Some are better for books, some are better for clothes, some are better for fabric, and yeah, you kind of just need to explore all of them, to be honest, and just see what you find. And I just love that about thrifting. And some days I manage to find quite a lot and some days I don't find anything at all. There was one occasion where it seemed like a crafter was just having a huge declutter, and there was yarn and there was fabric and there was trimming and there was all this great stuff, and I was very lucky. I spent probably about an hour rummaging through all the stuff. And there's other days where you just go in and there's absolutely nothing at all. And I find that people that I follow on YouTube that are, say, in America or Australia, they do tend to find more bigger fabric pieces like bedding, especially vintage bedding, which we don't get so much here, and things like vintage tablecloths and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just a different vibe, but we still managed to find some really nice things. And on this particular occasion I managed to find quite a few nice little bits, and yeah, can't wait to show you them. So I'm going to start with the fabric pieces that I found. So actually I found this, well, two sets actually, of single duvet covers, and they look like children duvet covers. They do look pretty new-ish because they look freshly pressed. However, they're such a beautiful fabric, and I wouldn't tend to use this sort of fabric for garments, for example. However, I think this would look really cute for things like bunting or zip pouches and that sort of stuff as well, which I also like to sew sometimes. So let me show you those. So it's these two here. So I've got the blue star fabric and I've also got the red star fabric, and both of these not only have the duvet cover, but they also come with a pillowcase as well, which there's just so much fabric here. I think it works out to be about, in total, because obviously you've got top and bottom sheet, you're talking about 2 meters by 1 meter on each side. So to be honest, that's quite a steal. On the label it says 50% cotton and 50% polyester, and it's actually from Next, so it's actually really quite a nice quality fabric. So I'm going to be really excited to sew with this because I'm particularly loving navy blue astrology stuff. So things like stars, planets, moons. I think even my necklace is a moon shape. But yeah, I'm just loving this sort of constellation, that's the word, constellation style things. So yeah, this could make a really nice pouch, a really nice lining for clothing. And yeah, red one, not quite sure what I'm going to be using this for, but again, I think it's just nice to have in my stash. I think each of these were £4 for, yeah, so £4 each, which is quite a steal for this like amount of fabric that's here. So I was super happy with that because we don't tend to get too much bedding and things like that. I have managed to find on occasion a curtain, which was kind of like a raw silk style, but it was polyester, it wasn't actual raw silk. So yeah, you do find the odd things. I did find a set of curtains which actually I've popped up in our dining room, which I absolutely love, because in our dining room we've got this statement wall that's a faramble green shade, and I'm not really in the mood to paint over it. I mean, I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. But I really wanted to go with a pink and green theme in the dining room, and I found these curtains which looked like amazing quality. They had A great lining to them, super weighty, embroidered. I'll pop a clip in here just to show you what they look like. I do normally like full length curtains, however, yeah, they didn't have it obviously in full length. But for this space it was quite nice because it was near the computer, and I didn't really want to be dragging on the floor in that area anyway. But yeah, that was a steal. Again, I think that was potentially £6 to £8 for a pair. So absolute steal. I just don't find that they make curtains to as high a standard nowadays. I feel like it all feels very synthetic. The lining's not as thick. Yeah, it's a shame really, but yeah, you do manage to find some really cool little bits as well. Sticking to the fabric side of things, now this one is actually, again, another bed sheet, but a flat, is it a flat? Doesn't say, super luxury, 250 thread count, cotton rich, 60% cotton, 40% polyester. It says Zara, but it's not the Zara that we know. Saying that, it doesn't even say what type of bedding it is. I have to have a look, hang on. And look how beautiful the colour is. This is such a shade that I would wear. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, yep, that's right down my street. It goes for all year round. It would go for autumn, winter. Yeah, it's totally my vibe. So I was super happy to find this. And it's brand new. This was £2.99 and it looks like a flat sheet. So yeah, not as much fabric in here because obviously it's not doubled over. There is a hem on this in a weird place though, hang on. Am I sure that it's plugged? Oh my gosh, right, so it's that style where, not the valance. Remember back in the day they used to do the valance sheets, which for the life of me I just can't find anymore. I quite like that style. Call me ancient, but I like that style. We don't really get that anymore here. But this is more like a box pleated, sort of straight one that goes straight down the side. And it's got a couple of box pleats. You can see that. But yeah, no, I really do love this. And if you've watched some of my other videos, there is a video where I made the Wilder top from Peppermint. And I made it out of a viscose that de-shaped quite considerably and didn't quite go to plan. But I actually really liked the top and I've said that I'm going to make that one again. However, I wanted to make it in a plainer fabric and also more of a predictable fabric. And I think this could be the one. I think I'm going to make that top out of this fabric. And yeah, there's a lot of it, so not bad for £3. I mean, that was a steal. I'm loving that. I could also even make a dress or a top out of that. I might even make the wrap top out of that one as well. On my last video, which was the free sewing patterns for spring, I spoke about the wrap top, so do check that video out. So yeah, that was also a brilliant find. Now, I got a couple of little actually haberdashery bits from my last thrifting trip. So it has unravelled a little bit, but now these I used to see everywhere when I was younger. I just associated this with a lot of sort of upholstery and furniture and curtains and that sort of stuff. And it's this gorgeous, you can see that. Oh, this camera's so good at focusing, I love it. It's this gorgeous trim, which I think would just look beautiful on like curtains. I actually really want to make a lampshade cover, and I think this as a trim would look gorgeous. And there's quite a lot here. I did measure them once I got home, and there's 6 meters of this, and I think I probably paid about £1.50, and I got about, yeah, 6 meters of this stuff. So I haven't quite got a project for this, but I am quite excited to use this. So yeah, if you have any ideas what I can make with this, then do let me know in the comments down below, because I don't really feel it's so much of a garment trim, but it could be. So if you can think of anything garment wise I can use for this, do let me know in the description box down below. Always open to suggestions. Now this was also a lovely trim, again £1.50. There was only 2 meters of this one though, and it's this, I want to say black, but it does look a bit navy. I think it's more navy actually than black, but it's this navy, very swiggly styled trim. Now this I think you could use for a garment, and I was actually thinking it could look really nice with a white ruffle top and this nice little rim around the edge. I think that could look quite cute. Or even to have this on a trim on like a pajama piece, kind of on the sleeves, you know, where you'd have piping. And yeah, I don't know, I find a trim quite difficult to use. I love having them because randomly I find brilliant things that I want to make with them all of a sudden, but I find it, don't use them that much and I want to use them more. So let me know what you guys use trim for, because I'm sure there's so many different things, but I'm just so uninspired with trim in general. And maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places and not finding that inspiration, but yeah, do let me know if there's anything in particular that you make out of trim. These gorgeous vintage looking buttons. Again, there were 22 buttons for £1.50, which is just brilliant. Now they look quite rustic looking and I really love them. They're these like, they look quite metallic, metal-like. Gold on the back, and yeah, it kind of got this brownish brass colour on the actual button. And I don't know, I just really love this style because it looks quite expensive and it's quite weighty, but it's not in your face. And I think sometimes, especially if you just want, say you want like a row of these down the back, I think that looks so cute and so elegant and so chic and timeless. And like I said, there's like 22 of them, so like they did have more, and I was just thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do with all those buttons. I should just got them all, to be honest, because when you need a button, you need a button. Now I've got one last fabric that I thrifted. Now this is another bed sheet, brand new, single flat sheet, and it's Fugati brand, which actually is quite a good brand from Dunelm. It is only 100% polyester though, but I think as a pretty toile, I think this is pretty good. And I got this for £2, so that also was a very good steal. I think this is going to be perfect for this spring. I don't know what I want to make out of this yet, so if you have any ideas, do let me know in the description box down below, because I don't often wear blue. I think this could look quite nice as like a triangled broad shaped strap dress. But yeah, I don't know. I do sometimes find that plain fabric can be harder to find a pattern for. Let me know if that's a thing, because I don't know if that's just something I've kind of just got a block with, but let's have a look what the quality is like. I am going to pre-wash this as well, obviously, because it could change. Oh, it's soft. It's quite nice fabric. Ooh. It's quite nice, you know. So it's got this, it's a very soft touch feel. So yeah, if you can think of anything that I can make with this in particular, do let me know, because I'm struggling. Oh, it could be a quite nice sort of smock detailing top with maybe some puff sleeves. Maybe. Yeah, let me know. I would love to know, because I love hearing your ideas, because it just makes me think a little bit more outside of my box. I tend to be quite practical with my makes, and I always try to be really intentional, but sometimes so intentional that I lose the creativity side, and I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. If it does, please give me some reassurance, because I just like to get use out of everything that I make, and I don't like making things for the sake of making them. So I find it hard then to think out the box, because I'm trying to find something to make that I'm definitely going to use. So that can kill the creativity flow a little bit. Just realised it matches my ring, which is like perfecto. But yes, I was super happy to find this one. Now, I mentioned this in my last, it wasn't my last video, one of my videos, that I thrifted this little teacup set. Can you see how cute? I love matching teacups with saucers. It just, especially this design, it just screams Alice in Wonderland, and it's just so adorable. I also like getting teacups from T2. I don't know if anyone knows that brand. But yeah, I saw this. This was £3, I believe. So again, a steal. Love the colour. What I think I'm going to be using this for is I'm going to make a pin cushion, I think, out of this, just so I can store some extra pins on my sewing desk. I have been using it so far on the side of my sewing desk to throw my extra like threads and stuff, just so it's easy to throw away. But that's what bin is for, and that's what I should probably be bringing closer to my sewing desk. But yeah, I want to see if there's anything. I'm going to have a little look on Pinterest just to see if there's anything else that people use these for other than obviously drinking tea, because in this household it's quite likely this would get smashed into 1,000 pieces, and obviously I don't want that. So I would rather this be in my space, in my sewing space, where I know that I'm going to look after it and it's going to come to good use as well. But yeah, who knows, it was cute, I got it. That was as far as the thought process went on that one. And I've got a couple of other sewing bits as well, which actually I got this one quite a long time ago. This was my sewing box I got, which was actually brand new. It didn't have a label or anything on it, but you could tell no one had ever used it. And it's this lovely reddish mahogany sort of wood with this padded top, probably for pins. And it's got all these little compartments on the inside, and it's just been such great use. For those of you that don't know, that I tend to do most of my sewing work during the summer period in the summer house when it's nice and warm. However, because there's no heating in there apart from my fan heater, in the winter it gets very, very cold, and it takes a really long time to get the room heated up. So having that little carry case of a sewing box to bring into the house when it is a little bit chilly and I just want to do a spot of sewing, that's an absolute game changer for me and has saved me so much time. On top of the fact that it's actually super pretty, I love it. I think nowadays it's really hard to find wooden sewing boxes. They tend to be kind of made out of cardboard and covered in fabric, and I just like the traditional old wooden styles. So that was a steal. I think I got that one for £7, so yeah, also an absolute bargain. Now, because of this situation of moving into the summer house and out to the main house, I was finding that I was ending up accumulating fabric within the dining room, which, let's say, Alex was not happy about. So I needed to find a solution to this mess. And realistically, I wasn't going to keep going back and forth into the summer house to go and get the bits that I wanted. Sometimes I just need to see the item in front of me. I'm very visual, I'm a very visual person. If I don't see the fabric in front of me, I will completely forget about it. So I have my main selection of fabrics that I want to use in the near future on display right there in front of me, reminding me that I need to do that. However, it was causing some mess. So I went to, now if you haven't been here before, the British Heart Foundation here in the UK have specific furniture shops, and they sell secondhand furniture at such ridiculously cheap prices. And nowadays when you buy things new, everything's MDF and it's not great quality. A lot of the items that you find in this charity shop are proper wood. They might be a little bit more dated, but I've found many things from there that I've managed to repurpose and decorate, sand down, paint and accessorise to make it more my style and to fit the house. For example, my dressing table I done the same, my bedside tables I done the same when I first moved in. If you're interested in seeing how I restore some of my furniture, I can do that in the future. This unit was absolutely perfect, and I didn't actually realise how perfect until I got it home. So it actually has, it's typically what was a DVD like hi-fi system unit, which we don't use anymore, but it had a section where you can put your CD rack, CDs in like a rack, with those little plastic teeth. And it also had another section which was a cupboard. It had another little shelf. It had a shelf on top with an open lid, which was like revolutionary. And all the shelving inside was all movable, so you could rearrange stuff if you wanted to. So I got home, I cleaned it all down, I unscrewed the CD racks because obviously I wasn't going to use it for that. And it was taking a lot of space inside. I rearranged the height so I could fit my sewing machine at the bottom. And it was just absolute perfection, to a point where the top where the open lid comes up, I decided to put my printer in the top. So when I want to print out my PDF patterns, I lift the lid up, put the paper in, and it comes out through the front. And it's the biggest game changer ever. I have my sewing box on top and everything is just completely concealed within this section. You have a section on the side where I put all my ironing boards, my dressmaking rulers, my cutting mat and things like that, all the long things like my tripod as well, which you're on. I store that all in there. And then I have a section where I have all my threads, my main sewing patterns that I'm using currently, along with some of the fabrics that I'm using currently. And everything just fits in there. It's absolutely amazing. So this unit, I think I paid about £35 for. Just brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. And I'm not gonna lie, I do probably still have some fabric bits lying around, but that's me being a visual crafter, which I just got to love. But yeah, that was an absolute game changer. And also, obviously I still have my sewing room in the garden where I can stick all my big stores of fabric, which actually I say big, but actually I don't have that much fabric. I'm quite good at keeping my fabric stash minimal, to a point where I probably have a couple of fabrics for each season, a small box of fat quarters where I can do some smaller crafts, and I try not to buy too many things nowadays because I've got quite a nice stash to start with, to kind of practice and learn, experiment with different types of fabrics and stretch fabrics and thin fabrics, play around with my tension and all these little bits and bobs. And once I've kind of got through that stash, then I'll start to obviously, I'll know kind of what my sewing style is a bit more, know what kind of fabrics I like to sew with and that sort of thing. So I'm trying not to buy too much sort of high-end fabric. Obviously I'm not counting things that I'm getting much cheaper, like things that I've thrifted and things like that, just because I do need some fabrics to do twirls on and practice on, and that will always be a need. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on that. I do also find that obviously the most recommended way of making twirls is with muslin fabric, but I just find that it's more expensive, if not the same price as pretty fabric. So sometimes I just don't understand. It just makes sense just to try it in the good fabric first, and if it doesn't work, then do it again in the same fabric. It just baffles me. I just find some muslin fabrics quite expensive, especially if you want like a medium weight to mimic the actual weight of the fabric that you want. So yeah, thoughts on that please, would love to hear. But yeah, that's all what I got on this shopping trip. I probably went to a total of about 3 charity shops. No, I probably went to approximately 7 charity shops and probably only came out with things from 3 charity shops, sewing related. So yeah, it's a little bit hit and miss. You don't always find things every single time. This was quite a successful one. If you do want to see some more of these videos, do let me know in the comments down below. That way I know to take you on my next one. I'm not sure if you're as interested in these sort of videos, so if you do like these thrifting sort of type videos, do let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.